This one. Hello, everyone. We are live. My name is Thomas Sawyer, thomassawyer.com, and we have the beautiful.
Hi, Ingrid H. Turner from the ingridhturner.com. Thank you, Thomas. I am so happy to be here, as always.
Yes, ma'am. We're just going to share out, so give us a second. Because I got to link all this stuff together, as per usual. I'll turn that down. Okay. I don't even care. Stop caring what groups I share into. Like, don't do it, Thomas. Don't do it. Don't share there, Thomas. No, I haven't kicked me out. Leave that group. Let's pick one. Okay. Hello, everyone. Just give me a few minutes to share now. Some water. Sounds good. That won't work. Okay. Yeah, done with that. Okay, comment. And got it. Hello, everyone. Give me a few minutes. I'm assuming that's right. There's only one way to check it, though. Yep. And cash.app. Got it. Oh, look, you guys disappeared. Disappeared on me. Hello, Carmen. How are you doing, dear? So we're back. Thomas Sawyer and Ingrid H. Turner. We're doing donation-based readings. I did not pin how much that was in there. That's the problem. Damn. I don't like doing this stuff this fast, Ingrid.
Yeah.
Unpinned comment. Can I copy and paste it?
That actually goes back to your human design. I can help you with that.
Yeah, all over the place. PayPal. Cash App. Is that correct? Yes. Donation. Pin that. Two pins. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. We are here. We are back. We are live. Let's go. Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm going to hit my AC real fast. I'm going to start burning up. There's too much fire energy.
It's snowing here.
I'm going to heat up one way or the other. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Hello, everyone. We are live, mofos. So, we'll start out with donation-based readings. It is $35. It is in PayPal and Cash App. And as well, you can comment your name for your initial free reading. Please comment your name as people are coming onto the feed. There we go. Well, no one's commented their name yet, so let's get going.
Let's get going.
Yep, it is Mr. Robert Becker in the house.
Mr. Robert, hello, darling. You want to go first? Go ahead.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Hello. It's saying your ability to understand things is getting upgraded. Your ability to start to understand your emotions is starting. I'm trying to decipher because they talk like angels sometimes. Is starting to get upgraded, and there's a lot that you're seeing about your life that's becoming more clear for you. They're saying give it some time. A lot of new avenues are starting to awaken within you. And there's a Native American spirit guide behind you, number one. You need to look at him. He's waving to me. He's saying, get in touch with me. He's saying, get out into wilderness, nature, whatever you want to call it, and ask him. I feel like you've seen him as a child. You may have forgotten, he's saying, but I don't think you did. I don't feel like you have. He's Native American. He's presenting himself how I would view a Native American. But he's saying, get back in touch with him. There's a lot more to explore. What is this other lifetime I'm seeing? Oh, yeah. Okay. So he's saying you knew him in this Native American, I would say Sioux Indians lifetime. Get back in touch with that because it's going to open up a lot of things for you moving forward. It's going to open up like this ability to walk more in a more like structured and determined manner about the ways in which you want to go is what he's telling me. But you knew him in this lifetime. He keeps wanting me to say this. You knew him in this other lifetime. He's friends with you. He just didn't want to incarnate on Earth this time. And who else is here? There is also a, who are you? I'm a ghost. Ghost, disconnect from him, please. Robert, say I accept if you don't mind. We're going to disconnect the ghost from you like that. Guide, one of my, Shante, take him away. Don't kill him, take him away, please. Thank you. I know you guys are a little rough. Those guys, those are beings. They like getting rid of stuff. Okay, just Azrael, then take him away. Thank you. And it was a ghost. It was attached to you. Just got rid of it. So, and all the light behind you. There's also, you have some spirit animals around you as well, Robert. This goes back to this Native American lifetime and other lifetimes. I'm seeing 3 other ones on Earth. They're talking about looking into spiritual totems and what they mean for you. Because in the Native American culture, they use spiritual totems as spirit guides. So like the coyote or the porcupine, I'm seeing different ones. It's not a honey badger, guys. I talk about my wives all the time. Okay, it's not a honey badger, guys, seriously. Okay, and they're saying crocodile. So coyote, porcupine, crocodile, you need to look up what those spiritual totems mean because they're walking around you. They want you to connect in with them, they're saying. And what else? Thank you. Okay. And eat more fruit, Mr. Robert. Eat more fruit, they're saying. And let me tap into your energy field to say I accept, Robert. Like that. Heart chakra. Root chakra. Release recalibrate light like that. There we go. You feel that energy getting clear. So your higher self is stepping through, Robert. Saying step up, step up, step up, step up. Like just start rising in your power of your. How does he do that? You're not being specific, please. Saying take the lead in where you want to go. That's going to change a lot of things for you really fast. Very stern. Higher selves can be very stern. Some guides are very stern.
Because sometimes we need that in order to pay attention. That's been my experience. Sometimes my guide has to come in with like, "Hi," I'm like, "Oh, okay." Beautiful, Bob. I'm seeing visions of you in prayer and releasing your burdens, just physically, like giving your burdens to God. I'm feeling that tension in the shoulders, which is very much a feeling of burden. I'm feeling the crown chakra open and tingling. And you're really just, if you haven't already, get into this practice of giving your burdens to God. Get into like almost like looking up at the sun or looking up at the sky and just standing there and just saying, I give this to you. I give this burden to you. I give this worry to you. I give this anxiety, this fear, this uncomfortableness to you. I just give it to you and give it to you. And as I feel this, as I tap into your energy, I'm seeing you walk around like in a very sage-like energy. Walking in reverence is what I'm getting. And you have a very sage-like quality to you as you continue to do this practice of consciously giving your burdens to God, giving them to God, giving them to God. They will take some time, but implement this practice and you're going to be amazed at how the obstacles, the burdens in your life begin to melt away as God really does take those burdens and take them off of you, because you know somewhere in there you don't need to carry them. But sometimes we just don't know how to let go. We don't know how to like get out of these entanglements that we find ourselves in. So give it to God and let source consciousness, the universe, start to carve out that path for you, because you've given away your attachment to these burdens. This is going to bring you to a place, and I feel like you're already feeling this, into even more spiritual God connection, and less interest in the forms and the practices that you have learned from others. It's not that those won't still come into you're gonna be less dependent on them, I think. And I'm getting something like if you've learned Reiki or a particular practice or a particular modality, for you, you're gonna recognize that you don't need to have so much. Those don't need to be as strongly in the front of your mind, because you're really coming to understand the flow of God, how God flows in this real infinite way through you. And you'll be able to grab hold of any old form or a brand new one that you channel as you go. And this is all sort of, a progression. It's like giving your burdens away and really allowing the divine source energy to flow through you as you give these burdens to God. I just see you so clearly just standing there in the morning sun, at the sunrise or the sunset, those two to feel like two very powerful times for you. Outside, I see water. If you can be by water, that's great, but that seems to be important. It's just giving them away, just giving it physically. Just, here you go. You can have this. Here you go. I don't need this. I don't need this attachment anymore. And I pulled some cards for you. And the first one I pulled is a 3 of Swords. So these are your burdens. These are your troubles. These are the things that you have attachment to. So the 3 of Swords swords are about the mind. And you see, this is 3 swords and it's all bound up. It means your mind is all bound up. So it's okay. And it's like, it's reasonable that you can't find a way out of some of these situations and burdens and maybe responsibilities that you have found yourself all tangled up in. You don't have perspective, but when you give it away, you begin to strengthen your clarity because you let go of the attachment. This is all tangled up. It's all attached, right? It's not letting go. You begin to let go of your attachment. And that's when you start to really feel the source energy flow through you and you develop that connection to God, that strong connection that is an unbreakable source to God. Now we have the Father of Pentacles, which is one about grounding, okay, being grounded in, but it's also about manifesting, bringing to you every resource you need, not just to survive, but to thrive. It's the Master of the Pentacles suit. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is like, this isn't going to happen overnight. Like Spirit says, it's a practice, and you will be blown away as you see source flow through your life and remove these obstacles, but you have to show up first. Okay, you have to show up, and then god will God will show up and do their work. You plant the seed, spirit, source energy reaps the harvest, and that is the experience of your life. All right, beautiful. Thank you, Bob, for your donation and the opportunity for me and Thomas to be of service to you. Appreciate you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
We still have donations open. It's $35 readings and healings. Next up, and it's in PayPal and Cash App. It's linked in the bio and in StreamYard. And next up, we have Miss Soul Treat.
Miss Soul Treats.
I'll have you go first.
Okay.
But it's
Miss
what-
Soul Treats. Okay. On a personal note, I want to tell you how very grateful I am to you, darling. The last couple of messages you have sent me have come at a really good time and landed with an energy that was very uplifting for me in moments of spinning a bit. So your intuition is fire, and you have that as a gift of yours, is being able to reach out at that time. So I want to thank you for that personally. Now, let's dive into your energy. Show me, show me. Okay, I'm getting that you are in a place right now where you have really clear perspective of what's going on in your environment for the people who you love, the people who you support. You're very clear about where things are. You have a wicked good perception. You really can trust it. And you're also in a place where you feel very calm and grounded and patient. I like this because you can see where things are amiss and where you see other people, particularly, are maybe doing things that are not helpful for themselves, or kind of going off in random directions, or self-sabotaging, or you can see that kind of what is going on around you. So I feel like this message is particularly for you, seeing what's going on with the people around you. You have a really strong, like, good perception of what's up, but you're being very patient and you're not injecting yourself. You're waiting and you're watching. It's kind of like you're watching a toddler learn how to walk. You know that if you go and save them from every fall, they're not going to learn how to walk. But you have absolute faith that that toddler is going to learn how to walk. That's where you're sitting. Is you have absolute faith when you're in your most calm and quiet moments. These people are going to learn. They're going to learn how to walk. They're going to get to where they need to get to. You do have moments where you wonder if that's the right approach and if you should jump in and make some suggestions or make some changes, or and trust your initial intuition, which is like just trusting, having faith that the people who you love are going to figure it out. They're going to learn how to walk, and then pretty soon they'll be running, and then you'll be having to run to catch up with them. But in the meantime, you're just relaxing and you're watching and you're seeing where the steps are wonky and falling down and going in a weird direction. And there's something that I read in a parenting book when I was pregnant with my son, and I remember it to this day because it cracked me up, the visual of it. It was toddlers are really bad at fast turns. They just like, wow, they go, their feet fly out from under them. So that's the kind of energy that I'm getting for you with the people in your life. And it may not be everybody, but it's a few people who you feel very connected to, not responsible for, but you feel inspired to be there with these people, for these people. And I guess Spirit's just saying, like, your initial intuition of just like, let them do it. Have faith. They got this. You'll know when it's your time to step in, if it's your time to step in. And it may not be, because your presence might be enough. Your presence might be enough. Here's your self-doubt. Okay. Five of swords. You're going, all right, tying yourself up in knots, but because you had that inspiration. But the thing about our intuition is, like, we usually get that lightning bolt just one time, that lightning bolt of awareness one time. And then the mind tends to come in and chew it all to pieces, right? But you just hold the vision. You're holding the vision. It's one thing you do need to be aware of, is what Spirit's telling me as I pull up this card, is your give and take. You need to make sure that you're getting an even exchange for what you're giving in all of your relationships. Now, that doesn't mean like tit for tat, dollar for dollar, that kind of thing. Not necessarily. It's an energy, right? You know this. You have a tremendous amount of emotional maturity, but we also have the devil on the bottom here too, which tells me that there's some growth here. You're growing into emotional maturity and letting go of some of the things, some immaturity, maybe some things that have, some shadow work is being done here as well to help you really grow into this place of faith and grace in a more complete way. Just so, this was just on the bottom of the deck. So some remnants of like, okay, we're gonna let go of some of our a little bit more of our BS now as you're in this position. But your mind is chewing on you, but it is the mind. The mind we do have the ability to command our mind. As you know, it takes practice, but knowing that it is just your mind and your mind lies to you is helpful. It's a liar. All right. Thank you, beautiful soul treats. Over to you, Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Looking. You're saying there's so many dimensions for you to explore. When I'm looking around you, I'm seeing all these different dimensions. Keys and codes. They're saying the practicality of, I'm talking to your guides. Yeah. They're saying Southern all of a sudden. They're saying which ones are practical in your daily life. Because I feel like sometimes you're moving into different ones that you don't always have to be in, I'm hearing. There's so many options for you to move into different dimensions. Yeah, okay. I'll just say it. Okay. So your higher self, not your guides, wants you to start teaching. They're saying you're avoiding this. Teaching over and over again. Now your guides are chiming in as well. They're all saying teaching at one time. This message has come through before. I'm uncomfortable saying these things. Okay, so they're saying teaching, just like that door opening that I just heard slam. They're saying open the door and just walk through it. Be one with what you truly are. Within the mind lies the heart. I'm just going to channel all these messages. They say you'll understand. Within the soul lies the drive. Within the codes lies the key. Within the solar plexus lies a lock that you can open with one of these keys. They just had me go through chakras. Give me a second. Now, my guide who yells at me all the time, saying within your sacral, open that because you need, again, please, okay. Yeah, I know. The man, Miss Soul Treats, you need the man. She knows what I'm talking about. It comes through every reading. They say that we're going to keep doing it too. Okay. Get out there. I don't know. Go to the club. Dance it up. Yeah, look. That's what happens when you do it. And I dropped the card because you don't want to do it. The Fool. New journey. And look, he's got, I'm just seeing them as codes all around them, even though they're signs, astrological signs. You're juggling codes. They're saying take a chance on blissful, I'm not saying that word on Facebook, sensual happiness. And then this stops happening with your mind. It goes in reverse. There's no more conflict. You know what that card is. And I have to cover her nipples. The star. And we can just keep playing this game. Then the Page of Wands, because going to be there. Sensuality. Come the Queen of Swords. Did you know what all these cards mean? Yeah, same thing Ingrid got. Ace of Swords. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Ace of Wands. This is all, and then you'll stop this. Then, I'll stop that as well. What's the other one? You want one more, don't you? Yes. Stop looking at life as the Five of Cups. And start looking at things as a magician. They're saying that you have a little bit of wiggle room with karma. A lot more than you think, they're saying. So you don't have to always play by the rules. Kind of like Thomas. Because there's wiggle room, and there's a lot of wiggle room for us, they're saying. So, yeah, sometimes you got to shake shit up to get to where you want to go. What about energy today? You need to give her a container of energy at her disposal. Okay. So I'm going to give you a container of energy next to you that you can tap into. You know how to do this already, so you do with it what you will. And whose energy are we going to use today? Jesus. Container next to her, behind her, in the corner now. And Jesus energy. Come on. Fill it up. Like that. Got it. There we go. And I have to close out with golden ray. You accept it or not? Golden ray. Boom. There you go, Miss Soul Treats. Guys, we still have open donations. We have Gail Voigt next. We still have open donations. It's $35 Cash App and PayPal. And yeah, here we go. You want to go first? Did you go first last time? I can't remember.
I did. I'm happy to go first again, though, if you need a minute.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got to redraw.
All righty. Beautiful Gail. Show me. Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. I just felt a lot of love. But what it felt like, honey, I felt it in the heart. And what it felt like, honey, it felt like a love between, it felt like a cord connected between me and you and our hearts. And I really felt some love go back and forth. And it is absolutely delicious. And thank you for that. Whether you intended or not, I felt it. So I really appreciate that. Okay, feeling into our beautiful Gail. Show me. What does our beautiful Gail need to know? Okay, feeling some tingling up here between the third eye and the crown chakra. Feeling some tension in the power center. What do we got? Show me. Okay, I'm feeling that you're feeling pretty spent. As I see an image of you and you the way that they're showing me that the way that you feel is they're showing me you looking very kind of thin and gaunt. With like kind of thin lips and like you haven't drank enough water in a really long time. You might want to drink more water, like literally drink more water. But I feel like you're just feeling really spent. This isn't like a physical exhaustion. This is like an energetic and spiritual exhaustion. You're just feeling exhausted. You're feeling spent. You're feeling like a shell of yourself is what I'm getting. And I'm just wanting with this heart connection, this heart to heart connection we have with this cord, I'm really wanting to intentionally just pump love into you and energy into you. And what I'm seeing is this golden light just pulsating through this cord. And I'd love for you to just take a breath with me, open your heart and there is my energy, but this is source coming through me and to you. I'm only being used as the conduit to make this energy physical and get it to you. As you're feeling this energy just pumping from my heart to yours, open up your heart and then open up your crown chakra. Open yourself up, like part the energy, part the sea of your mind, and allow the same kind of energy to come down from the heavens into your crown and meet in your heart where the energy is coming from me. And just allow this energy to pulsate and pump and gradually get bigger and bigger. It's like this orb of energy that's growing and growing, this contraction, expansion, And I'd like to leave this energy here. And if it's okay with you, if you accept this, go ahead and allow it to just keep pumping through you, to revitalize you, to re-energize you, to reignite you. Let it fill up your whole body, just pumping from my heart and from the universe, just coming all the way down until it fills up your whole body and then moves out and fills up your aura, so that you are just radiating this divine healing energy, this divine light. And it's going to allow you to really let yourself rest and relax in the way that you truly need to. I feel like when, if I were to say to you, like, you need to rest, you're going to be like, that's all I've been doing. But there's a way you need to rest, a relaxation, a rest, a pure, true rest of the spirit. This is going to enable you to rest your spirit so that you can wake up tomorrow and you can feel much, much better, much more alive. I hear like birds in the springtime. It's like waking up in the springtime to birds out the windows, that kind of energy. This is going to be happening for you. I'm going to ask this energy to just keep feeding you from my heart and from spirit. I'd like you to just open yourself up to it and allow it to work on you all night, to take the time it needs to just fill you up. And it's like bringing life back, bringing moisture back into your body is what it feels like. Just allow that to happen for the rest of the night. I don't need to be here for it. You don't need to be here for it. Just allow it to happen. Make that commitment, set that intention, and I will too. And that's what you got, my love. Let me pull some cards for you, my sweet. Faith, honey, the Fool, new beginning. Exercise that faith, beloved. Okay, this is going to come to an end sooner than you think it will. It still feels chaotic, a bunch of BS, but it's not as bad as it has been. You have some grieving to do. Allow yourself to feel your feelings as they come up, and know that you have so much support and love from the people around you, from spirit, from your own heart. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups. A lot of what you're going through is old. It's stuff surfacing in your body from your childhood, my beloved. So let that healing take place. And I bet you anything, Thomas has something juicy to add to it. So you're going to be cooking tonight. Wake up well tender, well cooked, all tender. All right, darling. Thank you so much. Bouncing you over to Thomas.
You said he felt hermity. He's here. So my interpretation is there's a snake in that card. So you got to look at some of the things they say your minds were looking at are being misconstrued. It's like this tarot deck, Gil. One side's up, one side's down. They're saying you're misconstruing some things that are going on around you. Saying look for the happiness within them. Look for the things that are going to bring you joy. There's something about connecting with Lyria. I'm just going to channel this. Thomas has provided you with codes that will help you, as long as you ground yourself before, to move into other realms, such as the Lyrian star constellation. They're not letting me see. They're showing me the pictures, Gail, of the Lyrian lifetime, but they're flashing too fast because they don't want me to. It's like there's so much you have to see. That's what they're getting at. There's so much you have to see. So trying to figure out what it is you need to see, Thomas can't figure it out because it's too many things. This picture is flashing, flashing, flashing. They're saying go back, go back, go back, go back. Set an intention. Even if you don't think you can. Set the intention and go back. Is there something there you need to see about that lifetime? And they're saying especially the cats. The Lyrians are cat people, kind of. There's something about Egypt. They're flashing Egypt. My higher self is. So they're showing me the staff with the snakes around it. They're saying your husband in that lifetime used to wield the energy of the staff. It's like the medical symbol. But you need to tap back into that energy, because in that lifetime you would tap into that energy a lot of the staff and use it for other things. But they're saying you need to go back into that lifetime and see what that was and how you use that energy. You were a priestess of some sort. They're saying probably more than that. I don't really get what they're getting at, because the verbiage is different in that lifetime. There's also a golden book there. They're saying you have the access points to get back. It's slowing the mind down where you can move back into those states to get into those past lifetimes. I'm asking if hypnosis would help, but they're saying no, it'd be better if she did it herself. But you could use it, wouldn't hurt. You say it could unlock a lot of things, but you need to trust the right person with that kind of stuff. What is this? I'm just doing energy from my hand. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's coming out of my hand. So just say I accept, go. Hold on. Okay. It's saying I'm helping to open up a path for you. Okay. I'm saying be a little more free-spirited. Okay. And we'll do a bit of energy work on you. Here we go. Boom. Heart chakra, there, heat up. Solar plexus, heat up. Sacral, there, heat up. And root, open, water. Clear. Connecting, move into heart. They're saying work on your throat chakra too. You need to be, you know this message, Gil, I've said it before. They're saying you need to be speaking and teaching. You may not feel that people will listen, but they will. You might be surprised. They're saying don't give up on the first attempt, because a lot of people do in the first or third. I don't believe in things like that. I just keep going. Thank you, Gail. We still have open donations. Sorry, $35 donations, some PayPal and Cash App. Get back in here. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Someone's heart chakras goes down. Guys, whoever's watching, may open your heart chakras. Say I accept. Open. Like that. Release. Recalibrate light. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Sometimes I don't realize how empathic I am.
Okay. That's a good thing to note. I do that too.
Cambo said I worked with the Book of the Dead. It's not the Book of the Dead, but you might. Man, it exists. We don't have any more donations, so I don't know what you want to do, Miss Ingrid. I'm gonna let you lead the way. I'm still a loopy. Put you on the spot.
Yeah. What are the options? Give me options. What are we doing?
General reading.
We could do a general reading. We could tap into the collective. Something. Let me see. I don't know. We
General
could do,
reading.
let's do a general reading. We'll do general readings.
Collective reading.
Collective reading. We're going to do a collective reading. Okay. Okay, I just closed my eyes and I saw a bunch of, I don't know if it's ice crystals or salt, to be honest. That's really strange. Let me see what's going on there. Oh, it's false winter. That was cool. So what they just showed me was what I initially thought was ice crystals, but it's actually big chunks of salt. And if you look at this initially, these big chunks of salt, you see, oh my God, it's icy, it's miserable, it's cold, everything's sort of dead and frozen. And Spirit says, no, false winter. It's actually salt. Okay, salt of the earth, right? It is like things are grounding in, and things may seem really slow right now. It might seem like winter is going on forever, and this is an energy, I mean, it is snowing here and it's almost April, but it seems like the winter's going to go on forever. But Spirit's saying that's a false winter. What has to happen? I see my guide coming in now. His name is Mons, if you don't know him. But what he's coming in to help me understand more deeply that everything has to slow down and go deeper and really come to a stop in forward motion so that it can drive down deeper and ground in, because unless a plant has roots, it will not flower. And so what we're doing is we're in this, we're looking at, we just planted the seed. Now we're expecting the flower to just show up the next day. And it ain't gonna. It's gonna take time to germinate and root in and really leach off of the soil, the nutrients from the soil, and slowly grow and bloom and blossom. And Spirit says, for God's sake, can you just enjoy the journey? Can you enjoy the process? Let yourself have the process. Be present in the moment. Stop lurching and running and hoping for and being attached to the final bloom. Every stage of growth, every stage of manifestation is gorgeous and so much fun as long as you can stay present with it. When we are not present, when we are hustling, I mean, manifestation requires action, but there's a time for action and there's a time to wait for correct action. You know what that is. Your body knows what that is. You know deeply in the core of your being when it's time to act and when it's time to wait for right action. Because if you get into action before it's correct, then it's wrong action. Then you prolong this false winter. You start pulling at your what you planted and digging up the seeds to see if it's still in there, right? And you don't need to do that. You're only like you're only causing yourself more grief. Now, the thing that they want to say is you're never going to completely upend what you're after, like your manifestation. Once you've planted the seed is planted. But we certainly have the ability to prolong certain stages of that process. So what's happening right now collectively is we're in what they're calling a false winter. And it's really like, it's the reason it's a false winter is because we are assuming it's winter because nothing is happening. But something is happening. It's just not happening on the surface. It's happening underneath the earth. Things are grounding in. So whatever it is that is top of mind for you, that is what Spirit is here to tell you. Be patient. Get present. Enjoy the process. Don't worry about it. That's what's coming through. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine and on track. Trust the blocks. Trust you are being directed and nudged and carted and wheeled and chauffeured to the place that is absolutely best for you so that you can enjoy your life to the fullest. It does take your participation. So stop fighting the universe's will, which is really just trying to carry out your will. Okay, over to you, Thomas.
Everything's an illusion that's around us right now. A lot of things that we're perceiving as, this has come up time and time again lately. There's all this stuff in the world that's like, oh, Jesus. It's like heavy and negative, and it's all illusions. They're distracting us on some level. They want you distracted, they're saying. Because they don't want you to see the beauty of what you have within yourself and the beauty of what's around you. They're saying it's like a right hemisphere of your brain hijack. They're saying like TikTok. but they're hijacked. It's like, this isn't reality. What you're seeing in front of you, this isn't reality. This is not the perception that you have, is not what's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's being implanted in your brain. It's a false narrative, and humanity is starting to see this. And it's interesting because planetary alignments, Pluto's gone into Aquarius. This hasn't happened since like the American Revolution, Declaration of Independence, et cetera, et cetera. So that same energy is playing out again. Whoever they are, they say they, are trying to get you to look away from that, even though you're still being pushed into that energy. So you have to be aware that there is some manipulation going on, and to try to detach from it as much as you can. Because what I'm seeing with a lot of people, including me, including other psychics, it's just like this real heaviness going on some levels, and some levels not, but on some levels, it feels very mental to me, and it's an illusion. Something I think about a lot is why we believe the things we believe. It's like a blessing and not a curse, but it's like a double-edged sword the way I think sometimes. It's like I question all these different things. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, this doesn't make logical sense to me. That there's so many illusions being put in front of us to distract us of things, instead of, whether that was in the 80s with TV or whatever. But they're saying we had so much more freedom back then. People were allowed outside. People weren't afraid to have their children outside. Blah 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 blah. They're saying, but there wasn't so many restrictions. They're saying lean a little bit back more into that energy of freedom. Is Thomas keeps seeing people locked in their houses, which I do. Yeah. Like they're not leaving. They're refusing to leave. And then they look at their phone when they leave. There's no presentness. There's no presence. Present. Yeah. That's my reading.
I'd love to piggyback off of that too. When you're talking about like there's so much information, so much like misinformation. We're being bombarded, and you're getting, it's a mental thing. You're really feeling it in the head. I really picked up on that as well. And that's why I've gotten really back into teaching intuition development and teaching people how to tap into their psychic abilities, because I agree with you. I think that we are being bombarded with more information than the human brain can possibly sift through. That, and in America at least, we are exhausted. People are working so many hours, so many jobs. People don't have time, energy, or at this point, the capability to sift through all of the information. So what people are doing is they're looking to others to say, can you do this for me? Can you tell me what's true and what's not? Because I have to like work this job and clean the house and feed my kids and it's just, we're maxed out, and there's no real safety net for Americans, because you are like most Americans are 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it. We just don't have a safety net. So I think people are stressed, they're exhausted, and they're just really trying to, survive. But the thing is your intuition knows. You always know in your intuition what's correct and what's not, what's a lie and what's truth, how much of something is truth, how much of something is a lie. You may not know it mentally because your brain doesn't work at that speed. It doesn't operate at that speed. But in your gut, in your body, your intuition always knows, yeah, bullshit. Oh, that resonates. And you don't need to know why. You have to decondition yourself to depend on your mind and your brain. And Thomas, I've seen your human design chart. So for somebody like you, with the way that like you're wired, like you very much, your brain is strong. You know, it's like it's fast, it sifts through things. So you're one of the people who has more ability than many, I think. And that's not about intelligence. That's just about
Yeah.
like the way the brain operates. My brain tends to be a muller. It tends to kind of go in and need to swim around in information. So when I get bombarded with information, I'm like, I come a blithering idiot, right? But I think that that's really happening to everybody on some level. So when you drop into your intuition, learn to trust your intuition and decondition yourself from the need to know the details right now, then you can just make moves and make decisions based on what you intuitively know. When you hear a politician speak, when you know hear about some new bill that's coming, when you hear about some whatever conspiracy theory is out there, you know what I mean? It's like some of it, almost everything is mostly bullshit. I don't care where it comes from. And being able to tap into your intuition for me has been such a game changer because I now walk through my life not feeling confused unless I get up in my head, and I do sometimes. And then I start getting really confused and afraid. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be in your gut, in your body, and going, I know what my intuition feels like. I know that's valid. I know that's not valid. And I'm going to make decisions for my life and the people I love accordingly. And if you put this to the test, if you try it for even a month, if you just really learn to tap into your intuition, you're gonna be amazed at like the results on your life.
Yes.
Yes, it's huge to be able to tap into your intuition. And I think you're just so right on with that, Thomas, is that we're just being bombarded. It feels intentional. I mean, it does. It feels like, oh, this is just, you know, it's like you know, death by paperwork. You know, I think like
Yeah.
lawyers and politicians play this game. We will just paperwork them to death. They'll never get through it.
Yeah. It's
Same kind of thing.
even with TikTok and stuff, it's literally overload.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
sensory
yes,
like
yes.
overload.
Yes, we need to disconnect from that shit so we can get back into our body. Oh, you froze. Or did I freeze?
Um,
Um, could somebody leave a comment and tell me if you see me or Thomas and what's going on our screen? Yeah, Gail, backing away from it all. Yeah, I'm spending a lot less time on social media, on TikTok in particularly. Okay, it's Thomas is frozen. He'll figure it out. He'll be back. But yeah, if you have comments or ideas about this topic, um, let us know. Leave a comment, right? What I've done that has been phenomenally good for my mental health is I sleep with my phone out of the room. He's back. And then I don't get on my phone. I don't check my messages. I don't check email. No TikTok, nothing for at least the first 30 minutes of my day. When I take that first 30 minutes of my day and I get up and I drink a glass of water, I drink some coffee, I sit there and I meditate and I get quiet, it is hugely beneficial for the rest of my day. When I don't do that, when I get on my phone too soon, I start getting all ramped up and in my head and confused again. It really does make a difference.
well, we don't have any more donations. If anyone would like to donate, it's $35 donation. It is in PayPal and Cash App. It is linked in the bio and in Facebook. No, we just keep talking. What you want to talk about, Ingrid? And put you
Oh
on the
my
spot
God.
again.
I mean, I will talk about anything, but as a generator, I do better when I have something to respond to.
Okay.
So if anybody has want to leave a comment, you want to hear about what we want to talk about, the things that I'm really good at talking about: spirituality, intuition development, um, any kind of like talk on psychic abilities, manifestation, anything like that. We can talk about our origin stories. What's your origin story? How did you come to this
Really
lifestyle?
want to have a cigarette. Okay. I didn't say it out loud. Okay. So, oh Jesus, I don't know. Um, I always saw things as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the first time I was 6, and I saw a Native American standing through the table in front of the TV. I was letting my bulldog Budweiser in, and I looked and I saw him, and I freaked out, and I ran up the stairs. And then as I got older, I didn't really walk into this till I was 34, so it's like 10 years. But I was always seeing things. I'd always know things. So like the whole negative entity thing. Like I would see that as a kid, like as a little kid or a 12-year-old. I remember one time I was riding the bike up the street and or walking up the street, and I saw these kids that used to harass me. They started riding their bikes down. They're like, "We're going to kill you." They're screaming, "They're going to kill me." And so I'm running to my house, like screaming and crying. I'm like 12 years old. And I can hear them behind me. And I get to the door and I'm banging on the door. And I'm like, my mother opens the door and she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "They're trying to kill me." And I look behind me, there's no one there. So it wasn't even them. Um, and then there was a bunch of other stuff that happened. So, yeah, I mean, even the whole negative, yeah, even the negative entity thing, it's always been a part of my life on some level. I remember Rossi going to a memorial service on Saturday, and she told me one time, she was like, "Thomas, I find it hilarious because I worked pest control for so long. I find it hilarious that you work pest control." I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Because you kill parasites in the 3D world, but you do it in the spiritual world as well."
No
And
mistakes.
so, yeah, because she understood all that. She taught classes on all that kind of stuff. I had to find a teacher. That was the thing. I went around, I had some mentors, but one was really good, but he wasn't like a super like mentor. I'd see him for massages, and he was a Reiki master, but it wasn't. He didn't talk a lot. But I was like, I need a teacher that I kept going to different people and looking for teachers. I was like, I know I need a really good teacher, and because I'm of the belief if someone knows something better than me, I should look at what they know if I feel it resonates. And I would go to all these different spiritual classes, and my friend Carlos used to be in them. And he's like, you would get up in the middle of class and be like, "I'm cursed to fight demons. Can you help me with that?" And they'd be like, "No." And then you just walk out. And I would be like, "Oh, I don't feel that way anymore." But the point is I was like, I know they can't help me. They're teaching candle magic and astrology. This is not going to work for me. So then inevitably one of those mentors was like, "You have to see this woman. Like, she's going to retire soon, Thomas. I'm tired of talking about her." What he kept saying. And that's what shifted everything. And I was so afraid of her because I knew if I'd gone to her, then my whole life would change. And I knew everything was going to go into high gear once I did that. And it seems to be a repeating pattern with some things with me. When I take that step, finally, I know something massive is going to happen. And that scares me on some levels. And yeah, so from there, I started healing, channeling, lives. Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. It started building up upon each other. Once I just took the step, that's why I tell everyone, just take the step. It's not as bad as you think it is.
It's true. It's not as bad as you think it is. Take the leap. Do the thing that scares you. That's where the magic is.
Where's your origin story?
So I remember growing up. I had a very alternative upbringing. I grew up out in the mountains. I was homeschooled by my father. My mom worked as a school teacher, ironically, but me and my two brothers were homeschooled. He was a Vietnam veteran. So he was, he had some stuff, right? He had some stuff going on. He was pretty traumatized because he was really, really, really sensitive. But the way that his trauma manifested is he became incredibly militant, right? So while he was really sensitive and loving and caring, he was gruff, So I kind of grew up with that energy, very militant energy, but he was also very spiritual. And he really pursued his healing with spirituality before that was a thing. He didn't have some of the tools that he didn't have access to some of the tools like that I have access to today or that I have seen out there. Otherwise, I think, he could have really done even more towards his healing. But he did what he was, trailblazer, right? So he homeschooled us because he had all kinds of wild political beliefs and like beliefs about the system, which now, 30 years later, everybody's looking around and I'm going, he knew that like 30 years ago, like he knew what was up. And so I grew up really spiritual, but in a real militant, like militia kind of way. So we would get up in the morning, we would be go up to meditation and yoga and satsang, where we get like our spiritual lessons, and then we would have breakfast in silence, nobody was allowed to talk, and then we go out, we go running. And I mean, he used to take us out on night walks and teach us how to like disappear in the woods, you know. I mean, it was wild, absolutely wild upbringing in the mountains. But he passed away when I was 12, which was a really big shock to sort of the whole family, because we'd all like the life was created around like what he wanted to do with his life. So I ended up going to school, and I lost touch with my spirituality over those next few years as I was trying to navigate that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into, sort of a normal life, which was marketing, tech, finish school, what have you. But I remember as a child always wanting to go up by myself, and I always saw faces. I always had faces in my mind, in my head. And the first poem that I wrote was also a mediumship experience. I remember walking across the room, I was 7 years old. I didn't even, barely had learned how to read and write, right? And I stopped midway, and this face, this being shows up in my mind, just stopped me dead in my tracks and starts telling me this story. And I wrote it as a poem. So I didn't put any of this together, like the faces that I saw, my sensitivity, I was always overwhelmed emotionally, which, empath, hello. The channeling of the poem. I didn't put any of this together until I was 30, so fast forward 2 decades. And I went to this plant medicine journey, and I was ready, and I blasted open. The spirit just came crashing into my body, and all of my gifts like woke up. I didn't suppress them anymore. They just woke up. And then I was like, I cannot do anything else except spiritual work. Everything has to come together. So I have been hustling and bustling and doing whatever I needed to do to create a life for myself that was all spirituality and psychic readings and psychic development. And that's why I'm here today. And that was, almost 10 years ago, when that awakening happened. So I can look back and see, okay, that was always there. But even with my spiritual upbringing, nobody talked about, you are an empathic child. They said, you are too sensitive. You need to stop crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that the people I was talking to in my head, I thought, oh, I guess that's what imagination is. No, those were spirits, because I was a little medium child. They were like dive bombing me, going, hi, and some of them start talking through me, start writing more and more and channeling more and more. I never put it together till I was like 30. And then I would look back and go, whoa. And that awakening experience was profound, but it has really impacted the way that I teach, because it's very important to be grounded in when you have a spiritual awakening. And I was not grounded, and I went pew for like 2 years. I was not functional. So now I help people get to that point to awaken their gifts. But grounding is really, really important, because that was a waste of fucking time. I couldn't work. I couldn't function. I was lucky not to be medicated and committed, frankly. I happened to be surrounded by amazing people who didn't, who could grab hold of my ankles and didn't feel the need to go like get this, girl on something and to calm her down. But that's why I'm fanatical about grounding. If you follow me around at all, that I'm always grounding in and having other people grounding, because this stuff is like, it requires us to be grounded in order to do anything with it. Right?
Well, for me, I just shoot off into space sometimes. I think it causes anxiety, my guys are saying.
But when you're grounded, you can come back.
Yeah, I can feel it causes anxiety. Sometimes. I think sometimes I'm looking in too many places at once. If that makes sense. Too many dimensions at once.
So we could do a grounding meditation right now, Thomas.
I prefer to smoke, but that's just me.
Actually, no, that's smoking is very grounding. And I smoked a lot for a long time. And looking back, I realized that was a grounding experience. I still like to burn sage and Palo Santo. I mean, like when I stayed with you, it's like I was always burning shit, That is absolutely a grounding. Maybe not the best for like the health, but it's definitely grounding.
Yeah, it grounds.
Yeah, it does. It works really well.
I don't know. You want to cut it off there, dear?
I guess we're here for readings, but if we're satisfied, we're satisfied.
Gail likes food. Thank you, Gail. You like food? I like food too.
Yeah,
What's that other food?
food is very grounding, and
Oh, I get what
grounding
you're saying.
foods
I'm
are
sorry.
like bready foods and like pastas and sort of carby potatoes are very grounding. You're going to find yourself craving those foods when you need to get more grounded. And if you struggle with food cravings and it's causing you any problems, like you don't like if it's causing weight gain or whatever, then grounding in your energy, putting in a strong grounding practice will help you with those food cravings. The other thing to remember is like, if you're unhappy, if you're in a place of like living a life you don't really want to be living, you're going to have more cravings for more food and more sweets because you're looking for that grounding and nurturing. You're looking for a place, to feel like you're in a place. So, your food intake will tell you a lot about how your energy is doing, what kind of life you're living. If you're
Yeah, I haven't
living in
been eating.
alignment. What?
I've only been eating like one time a day.
So I noticed that when I was traveling, I was really, really in my element when I was traveling, and I did not eat very much either. I ate. I think I kind of had more of a grazing habit. You fall into your natural way of eating when you're feeling emotionally satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only one time a day. I don't know why.
What time do you eat?
It's random. I mean, I might eat like something when I wake up, like apples or bananas or something, but then I'll eat like at night. Might be like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess that's it. I guess we're done.
I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Hello, 19 people. You can comment, mofos. Anyways, okay. We complete. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Mondo appreciated.